Scott Lively is a fundamentalist pastor, and he went on the ironically named radio show Trunews yesterday, where he said this.
When Satan is going to come against mankind, the most fundamental attack on humanity and the most fundamental essence of rebellion against God is sexual perversion, because it's attacking the very essence of who we are, being created in His image as procreative. Think of that word. We are procreative. That's who He is. The creation is the breath, the logos out of the mouth of God, the creation itself, and we engage in procreation, reflecting the essence and image of who God is in who we are. That is so powerful. So when you look at in the Bible, there are sins that you would think of are worse. Murder, mass murder. But what does it come down to? Leviticus 18 tells the Hebrews exactly what it is that God identifies as the most rebellious behavior. The behavior that causes the land to actually vomit out its inhabitants. And every item on that list, except for child sacrifice, is sexual perversion. And child sacrifice is often a form of sexual perversion. And that's where we are. I've done a brochure titled Not Just Another Sin. And you can actually access it, at least read the thing on the website, defendthefamily.com. But it makes the case through the scriptures that homosexuality is not just another sin. It is the sin that defines rebellion against God, the outer edge of rebellion against God, and is the harbinger of God's wrath.
He just said it. Homosexuality is worse than murder and mass murder. How badly does that guy want to suck a dick? No, I know it's funny, ha ha he he, but I'm serious. How badly does he want to suck a dick? Who talks about homosexuality like that unless they're really, really thinking about it all the time and writing stuff about it and watching video clips of it and getting really in touch with homosexuality? Why would somebody go down that path, go down that road? What would lead them down that road? Probably because they're a self-hater. Understand, there's a lot of research on this, and that turns out to be the case, that oftentimes the most vocal, vehement, anti-gay people, they have those feelings, and they're fighting those feelings. So they're externalizing an internal struggle. They're usually from a very religious background, so they really believe that it's wrong to be gay and act out on that, but they just want to do it. They want to do it so bad, but they're fighting it because I can't. It's wrong to do it, but I want to do it. And then they just, until the point where they get on a fucking radio show and say that homosexuality is worse than murder. Think about how backwards that is. How can anybody think that if they're a rational person, if they're a logical person? They can't think that. But what this guy does is he takes this book, a 1,000-year-old book, which is full of absolute horseshit. The same book that says homosexuality is wrong says that cutting your hair is punishable by death. Ban all barbershops. You can't shave your face either. None of that. Don't eat pork. Don't eat crab. Don't eat lobster. These are all rules in the Bible that if you violate it, you should die. If you work on Sunday, sorry, off with your fucking head. You're not allowed to even touch your wife. Even if you touch her hand, touch her on the shoulder, give her a kiss on the cheek, you can't touch her when she's on her period. If you do, sorry, put to death. She's got to sleep outside in a tent when she's on her period. The list goes on and on of the stuff in the Bible that's ridiculous. But this guy takes this book and goes, that book nailed it. That book is right about everything, to the point where I'm going to say that homosexuality is worse than murder. Think about what murder is. Murder is the worst crime, according to all rational people, because what you're doing is taking your will and imposing it on somebody else to the point where you end their existence on this planet. You've taken away all of their rights as a human being by killing them. So it's the worst thing you could ever do. It's the exact opposite of respecting somebody's rights as an individual human being and letting them act according to their own free will. Compare that to homosexuality. Homosexuality is just adults consenting to a sex act. That's it. There's no victim. There's no victim. Two people who want to do something and they're going to do it. I mean, that's about as morally repugnant as tennis. Because tennis is the same thing. Hey, two people, we want to play tennis? We're going to play tennis. Oh, we're having fun. Sure, it works the same way with gay sex. Two people want to do it, they start doing it. But this guy goes, no! Who has nothing to do with this interaction that you guys are doing, except I want to beat off to it, but I'm going to get involved and I'm going to say, you're being immoral, this is worse than murder. So you want to put these people to death, don't you? That's what you want to do. It's so backwards, it's so primitive, and also this is why it's very important that it's not enough, in my opinion. Like, I get it. There's a lot of moderate Christians out there. There's a lot of moderate religious people out there. And sure, they're obviously not the same as this lunatic, clearly. But at the same time, isn't it a more effective and rational argument to tell to this guy, not only that you're wrong based on the Bible, because he's not based on Leviticus, it's true. In the Old Testament, that's how they view homosexuality. So doesn't it make sense to say, you go living your life based off that book is the same as you living your life based off the story of Humpty Dumpty. It's the same as you living your life by Tinkerbell's standards. It's the same as living by the Greek gods or the Roman gods or Hindu gods or whatever.